Okay. Once again, good morning, everybody. In today's session, we will look into HTML5 web storage. So we are in this particular session, we look how web storage can be used. Earlier, we looked into various mechanisms by which we how we can store the state. Okay, we used different approaches. We looked into session variables. We looked into cookies. Uh, then now we look into web storage. Web storage is more. It looks like a replacement of a cookie. But it is not an exact replacement, but it looks like a replacement of the way the cookies are used. Okay, web storage is a new JavaScript only API introduced in HTML 5.4. And this web storage is only available with version HTML 5.4 or later. It is not available. This feature is not available in the earlier versions. Okay, and it is meant to be a replacement or perhaps supplement to the cookies in that web storage is managed by the browser. The why it is meant like a replacement for the cookies is the particular web storage is HTML web storage is also managed by the browser software. Unlike cookies, web storage data is not transported to the to and from the server with every request and response. In case of a cookies, we know like whenever server gets the first request and when it is sending the response, along with the response, the cookies are set. And once the cookies are set, with every communication with the server, with every request, the cookies information will be sent to the server. Unlike that, web storage information is not sent like that. Okay, and in addition, cookies has a limitation on the size. Web storage is not limited to the 4 kilobyte size barrier that particular cookies have. So cookies have a like a limitation of a 4 kilobytes of information that can be stored in those cookies. But in case of a web storage, that particular limitation is not there. And in case of cookies, there were two types of cookies we had. One is the persistent cookie and one is the session cookie. As we know, session cookie, whenever, excuse me, whenever the browser session ends, the cookie will be deleted. And the persistent cookie is like it will have a expiry date and it will persist until that expiry date. Similar to that, we have two type of web storage. One is a local storage, one is a session storage, which works very similar to the persistent and the session storage. The local storage object is for saving the information that will persist between browser session. So local storage, if you use the local storage object, the information will persist between the browser sessions. Means even it is not only restricted to one session, it is stored for multiple sessions. So you can use multiple browser session. Let us say user makes a browser session and you are using a local storage, and as long as that particular session is there, he opens a new session. Even then that particular information will persist, that will be available. In case of a session storage object, the information will be lost when browser session is finished. The information that will be available only for the period of the session. As long as session is available, that object, session storage object, will have the information. Once the session is closed, the information is lost. This is the example. Okay, using the web storage JavaScript code for writing information to web storage. How to write the information to the web storage? This is the example code example. This is the form. This is the beginning of the form. This is the end of the form. Then we have a HTML h1 tag. So it will it's a header one web storage writer, that is the content that will be displayed on the browser. Then this is the beginning of the JavaScript, and this is the end of the JavaScript. So JavaScript code will start here, it will end here, and after the script we have another paragraph. One we have a header and another paragraph. That paragraph has a link to the web storage reader.php. Okay, go to the web storage header. So when you click, this particular resource will be requested, that is web storage reader.php file. In the script, languages like JavaScript, type text or JavaScript. Inside the script, we have if condition, if type of local storage equal to undefined, or type of a session storage equal to undefined. So let us say if local storage or session storage, they are not defined. If they are not defined, this will be true, both will be true. Either this is not defined or this is not defined, then it will show the alert web storage is not supported on this particular browser. So if that browser doesn't support these web storage, that is anything before HTML 5.4, okay, it will not be supported. Then this will return true. If it returns true, just you are showing an alert that this particular web storage is not supported for that particular browser. This, if it is condition is false, means those local storage and the session storage are defined, then it will come to the this particular else condition. Okay, then what you are going to do is you are setting a session storage here. You will call that object, right? These two are the object. Local storage and the session storage are the object. You will using that object, you will call the method dot set item. When you say set item, it will take this as the variable today's date, or the you can think it is a key, and it will be mapped to the date. Today's date will be, it is a name value pair. Today's date will be mapped to new date. New date will get the whatever is the current time, it will get the that particular current time as the object. Then you are setting one more one more web storage variable, session storage dot favorite artist is equal to some value Matisse. So this favorite artist key will hold the this particular value. Today's date will be held by the whatever the new date value, and favorite artist will be holding this particular value, and both are session storage object. Meaning is what? As long as the session is there, these particular information will be available. As long as the session ends, this information will be lost. And you are also creating a local storage dot username. Username is equal to, you are setting a value Ricardo, so username will be mapped to Ricardo. Then you are saying a document dot write web storage modified. Just you are printing a message that web storage is modified. So this is how you will set the web storage. You will write the information into the web storage using the session storage and the local storage. Using web storage, JavaScript code for reading the information from the web storage. Earlier code, what you did is you return the information into the web storage. Now, how to read the information from the web storage? Same form. Okay, this is the beginning of the form. Okay, closing of the form. Inside that we have the header, web storage header, and this is the beginning of the JavaScript. This is the end of the script. Inside that we have the JavaScript code. So here this particular if condition will work as is. Okay, if that browser is not supported, then it will land up in true condition if it is undefined, and you are going to display this particular message, web storage is not supported on this browser. If it is supported by the browser, it will come to the else condition. Okay, this condition will become false. It will come to the else block. You are you are defining a variable var, that is the keyword. Today is the variable, is equal to session storage dot get item. So earlier you used how to how you which method you used to write the information, that is the set item. On session storage you call the set item, and you are setting this as the key and this as the value. And how to read it, get item, set item and get item, those are the two methods you are going to use. Session storage dot get item, and you will specify the key, whatever the key you have given, you will specify the key, that is today's date. And one more variable, artist, is equal to session storage dot favorite artist. So it will fetch the this value. So session storage dot favorite artist, you have set it as Matisse. This particular session storage dot favorite artist will fetch that value, and that value will be stored in the artist. And third variable, these two are the session variables, and this is the local variable which will persist. Variable user is equal to local storage dot username, that is the key you have used here. Local storage dot username is equal to Ricardo. That value, the Ricardo value will be stored in the user. So now today will have the today's date, artist will have the artist value, and user will have the user value. Then what you are doing, document dot write, this is how you are going to write it onto the browser. Date saved is equal to plus today, so it will just concatenate that information. This string and this string is concatenated. So on the browser you will say date saved is equal to today's date. Then break, it will come to the next line. Favorite artist is equal to plus artist, whatever the artist value you got here, that artist value will be appended and that will be displayed. And after that again break, it will go to next line. Username is equal to user, whatever the user you selected, that will be appended. So on the browser you will see this three information. A better way to think about the web storage is not as a cookie replacement, but as a local cache for relatively static items available to JavaScript. So we should not think the web storage as a just like a cookie replacement. It can be used like a cache, a local cache. And if there are any static information, let us say in server you have some information stored in a XML file or a JSON file. Let us say you have the list of countries and list of states in particular country. These are static data which relatively which will not change, right? The number of countries will not change, right? Coming up with a new country, it is like a that is a very difficult. So that kind of a static data, whatever the static data you have, you can store such kind of a static data in the web storage. What is the advantage of storing such information on the web storage is you can use it as a local cache. So whenever there is a multiple requests on the server, if it is requiring this particular information, static information, so you need not make a request to the server again. So you can get it from the cache. So from the local cache you can get the information. That is how you can make the response quicker. And also if there are millions of hits on your website, the performance degradation will not happen. So one practical use of web storage is to store static content downloaded asynchronously, such as XML or JSON. Asynchronously is like you can use the any kind of a web services. Okay. You need not load that particular information at the time of the rendering the page. You can make a asynchronous call. We will see Ajax. We are going to see the Ajax. You can make a asynchronous call and get the information and keep it in the web storage. Downloaded asynchronously, such as XML or JSON from the web service in web storage. thus reducing the server load for subsequent request by the session. If there are any subsequent request for that kind of information, that can be retrieved from the web storage. We need not make a request to the server. So this is the example how it is done using web storage. You can see here, user is requesting some PHP page. So once the PHP page is requested, once the page is being rendered, XML, you can see the web service will be called. So XML retrieved from the Flickr REST web service. So we are using a web service. It will go to the web service server, and that particular information, either it could be stored in a XML or a JSON, that will be loaded onto the, that is the uh, whatever the XML information, that will be stored onto the web storage. So this is a web storage. And let us say the user has another request, okay, related to the same page. That information, it need not go to the server again. That information can be retrieved, XML retrieved from the browser's web storage. Whatever the if that information is available in the web storage, that will be accessed, and browser displays XML data, okay, saving a second request of the Flickr REST web service, making another web service request will be saved if the requested information is related to the what information that we got, that we have saved. So if there is any repeated request for a static kind of a data, such kind of a information can be stored in the web storage. So we can stop the multiple request, either it's a web services request or a web server request. We can avoid, and we can route it to the web storage. The responses would be faster, and the performance of the web application will be better. Okay. Next is the caching. uh, Everybody know what is a caching, right? So caching is locally, caching helps us with the improving the performance. How we improve the performance? Some information which is stored in a database or a server, whenever a request is made, if we are getting the data, let us say we are executing the PHP code, we are parsing and executing the PHP code, and in turn the PHP code has to get that information. Let us say it is stored in a database or some external files. It has to process and get that data, and that particular information will be given back to the browser as a response. Let us say if there is a similar kind of a request, and millions of requests are coming in similar kind of a request. If it is exactly like a similar kind of a request, instead of going through every time the page is requested, it will be parsed, okay, and it will be executed. When it is executing, it will connect to the database, get the information, and it will send the markup. Instead of that, if it is a similar request, the markup can be saved in the cache. Okay, once you save the markup in the cache, if it is a similar request, and if that particular markup is from the recent time, okay, if it is from the recent time, same markup can be given to the browser, instead of going through the a complete loop of parsing, processing the PHP code, and then coming up with the PHP page. So that is how the caching will help us with improving the performance. Every time a PHP page is requested, it must be fetched, parsed, and executed by the PHP engine. For a typical PHP page, this might also involve numerous database queries and processing to build. So either it can be numerous database queries or some kind of a processing. Let us say some kind of a calculation is involved, okay, some kind of a algorithm is involved, which is a time consuming. Some kind of a processing is involved, so it will consume lot of time. Either it could be a database query or some kind of a processing. And if this page is being served thousands of times per second, the dynamic generation of that page may become unsustainable. So let us say that particular page is being requested thousands of times per second. So basically what it means to tell is the number of requests are high for that kind of a page. uh, every time dynamically, if we try to generate, we go through this cycle of fetching, parsing, executing, then it is connecting to database or doing some kind of a processes, and then giving the page. This becomes either it will slow down the web application, or it is not at all practical. And how to solve that problem? To solve that problem, one way to address this problem is to cache. Okay, we can create the cache. Cache the generated markup. Whatever the markup was generated, we can just cache it. Okay, store it in some temporary memory. The one way to address this problem is to cache the generated markup in the server memory, so that subsequent request can be served from the memory rather than from the execution of the page. So if there are once you get the request for the first time, then what you will do is you will go through this process of parsing, executing, then it will connect to the database, and then it will come up with a markup. That particular markup will be stored in a server memory. Okay, it will be stored in the cache. Any subsequent request, whenever it comes, it will be served from the memory. So that markup will be served from the memory, rather than going through the complete loop of a dynamic generation, which involves the execution of the page. In this type of caching, the contents of the rendered PHP page or just part of it are returned to disk for fast retrieval. So if we are using this type of a caching, whenever the markup is created, that markup page will be also stored in a disk, so that it can be retrieved very quickly when there is a subsequent request. So this is the page output caching. You can see here there are the three different users. They are requesting a excuse me, they are requesting the index.php. So that request will come to the server. So all of these people are requesting the index.php page. Then we will check, is the cached index.php recent enough. So we will be caching these pages, whether that particular page is recent or not. Okay, let us say it is not recent, or let us say one of the first request that comes in is the first time request, then it will say answer is no. Or the index.php is not which is cached is not recent, or it is not available, then it will come to this route, execute index.php. So the php page will be parsed, and it will be executed. It might involve interacting with the dbms, connecting the dbms, running some queries, getting the data, and processing that particular data. And maybe it involves the calling some web services to get the information. And after doing all that things, it will generate the markup. Okay, once we have the markup, save the markup for index.php to the disk. Okay, disk cache. You can see this particular markup is stored on the disk cache. Okay, and also the markup is sent to the requesting browser, whoever is requesting. Once the markup is created, one copy will be saved on the disk, and one copy will be sent to the requesting user. Now, let us say this is the first user. So subsequently, this user requests for the same index.php. Now, what happens is, now recent copy is stored in the disk cache. Disk cache has a one copy of the markup of the index.php. Now, again, when we get the subsequent request, it will check whether index.php, which is cached, is recent. The answer is yes. Then what will happen? Retrieve markup for index.php from the disk cache. So in this disk cache, we have the recent markup that will be retrieved, and markup is sent back to the requesting browser. So this markup is not gone through this process. This is coming from the disk. That is how the request will be served immediately. So that is how we can use the caching. Application data caching can't always cache the whole page. Okay, there are some limitation with the caching. Some pages or some part of the pages are dynamically changing for each of the user. In those cases, caching the complete page or the partial page is not possible. So the alternative is using the application data caching. Many sites customize the content on each page for each user, so full or partial page caching may not always be possible. So that is the limitation. What is the alternate strategy? To use the application data caching, in which page will programmatically place commonly used collection of data into cache memory, and then other pages that also need that same data can use the cache version rather than the retrieve it from the original location. So in this case, the application data caching, certain data which is requested by many pages or most commonly used data, that will be cached. So whichever the page that is requiring that kind of a data, instead of going through the going and getting from the original location, it will get it from the cache. Application data caching, this is the example code we have. This is the PHP code, this is the beginning of the PHP code, and this is the end of the PHP code. Create connection to memory cache. So this is how we are creating the memory, creating the cache. This is a variable declaration, $memcache is equal to, this is a PHP code, you have to remember, is equal to new. Memcache is the object. We are creating a new object of type memcache. So it is you're creating a memcache object, and the whatever the object that is created, that will be assigned to this $memcache. So it will have the reference. Then we on $memcache, we are going to connect. Okay, call the connect, so that will make the connection to that particular memory location. If there is a failure, then die could not connect to memcache server. If there is any problem in properly creating the object of memcache, and if there is any issue with connecting to that particular cache, then it will give this particular error. Then cache key, $cache key is equal to top countries. So we have a key called top countries. Here we are going to check if cache data exists, retrieve it, otherwise generate and cache it for the next time. So we're going to check whether this particular cache data is existing in the cache or not. If it is not existing, it is going to be cached because it is going to be used frequently. So we are going to cache this particular application data. First we will check not isSet. isSet is the function. Inside that, $countries is equal to $memcache. This is the object, cache object we have created. And we are calling the get method on that object, and we are giving the key. And what is the key? Top countries. So it will try to get it will try to see if there is any data that is set for the key top countries. If answer is true, okay, this will become true, then this will become false. Okay, if it is false, this is the beginning of the if condition, this is the end of the if condition. This is the true block. It will come here, display country list, and whatever the value that is stored here, that will be displayed here. We are just demonstrating how it is cached and how we can retrieve the information. So we are displaying all the collection of the countries. Let us say this particular item is not cached. Okay, this condition will become false and not. So this if condition becomes true, it will come inside. Since every page displays a list of top countries as links, we will cache the collection. So we will, why we are caching this particular data? Because it is used by many pages. How to do that? this is the variable cgate $cgate is equal to new country table gateway, new country table gateway, and you are passing the adapter. So this is how you will get that particular information. This implementation you can just assume. So it will create the object with all the processing inside, and it will have the particular object created with all the countries. So once you have that object, $countries is equal to cgate. This particular method will get you the collection of all the countries. Get most popular function method you are going to call on cgate object, which will give all the countries as a list or a collection that will be stored in the countries. Now we have the we once we have all the information, now we have to store it in the cache, right? We have to store this information in the cache. How to do that? We have the cache object created $memcache, and we have a set method. So set method will set that particular key and value map that will be stored in the cache memory. So we have the $cache key. What is the $cache key? It is top countries that will be used as a key, and $countries. This is the list of countries, means values. Like if there are 100 countries, all that list will be available here. So top countries will be mapped to this value, and false. So client can add some additional information. So false means client will not be able to add. And 240, 240 is the expiration. Okay, expiration of this particular data. So data will expire in 240 seconds. That is the meaning. So this is how you will set the data in the cache. If this is a failure, then you will say die failed to save the cache data at the server. If there is any problem, then it will give that message saying that the cache is not able to set the particular data. Okay, that is about HTML5 web storage, and next we will see advanced JavaScript and jQuery. Okay.